Next, I'm going to give just a brief introduction to a really nifty feature that appears in both the free and the pro version called date offsets. I've got a report here. I took this example from a post on our forum that was made by Ed Still. So Ed, if you're watching today, thank you for that. You'll see this is a much abbreviated version of what you were talking about. But Ed had a form in which he had a date of meeting for one field, and then he also wanted the form tool to generate a date that fell on a Monday 6 months after the date of meeting. So I'm going to create a form here. I'll start with my table button to add the Q&A table. I'm going to split my screen again because I like to see both the form and the Q&A table simultaneously. And I only need to ask one question here. I'll call it date of meeting. And the question I'll type is, what was the date of the meeting? I noticed that people, when they're filling in questions here, in an effort to be complete, they'll often type very long questions. But consider this question, what was the date of the meeting, compared to a simple two-word question. It's really just as specific, and it's a lot less to read. So think about paring down your questions as you're typing questions in here. There's often no need to be so verbose with them. And given that one question, I can now fill in all the blanks in this form. Here, I want the date of the meeting to appear, so I'll put in a field, insert field, treat it as a date, and use this standard format. And here, I want to compute a date that falls on a Monday 6 months later. So again, I'll click Field. I will insert field, treat it as a date, and notice this Offset tab. It's easy to miss. I'm going to click Offset here because I want to offset this date. This is the Date Offset screen, and I want to offset this date by 6 months, which works out to 180 days. So I am adding plus 180 calendar days. This preview down here gives me a full English description of what I've chosen. So it says start with the supplied date, and by supplied date I mean the date that the form user has typed into the answer box here, and add 180 calendar days, counting weekends and holidays. Once I've gotten to that date, which is 6 months later, I still have some work to do because I want to find a Monday. So I'm going to add a second sentence to this description. The plus here is how I add another sentence. I click plus, and now I have a whole second sentence to work with, and that second sentence is going to say go to, and I want to go to this or the following Monday. There it is. So now I have a two-sentence offset. Start with the supplied date, add 180 days. Then, if it's not a Monday, go to the following Monday. And I'll click OK here. Done. And that should give me a date 6 months later. Let's try it out. Today is 8/7/12. Actually, that's the meeting date, not today. And I'll click Fill. And I get one date here and another date about 6 months later here. I want to just double check and see if that's actually a Monday. So I'm going to modify this field, clicking the field button again, and I'm going to choose a format that includes the day of the week. Here's one here. I'll fill in the form again, and yep, I can see that that's a Monday. I'm also a little concerned that it's 6 months later, so I'm going to go with a date down here that's easier to calculate. I'll go with January 1st, fill it in again, and I can see Monday, July 2nd. Yes, that is 6 months later. So that's date offsets. That's available both in the free version and in the pro version.